Welcome to the February 26, 2026 Select Board meeting. I'm Dottie Fulgenetti. We have Jen Stacy, Mark Lamb, Jamie Stebbins, so we do have a quorum of 4. We have one item on the agenda for tonight, and it's the announcement of the Town Administrator finalists by the Town Administrator Screening Committee Chair, Chris Mills, and Consultant Bernie Lynch of Community Paradigm Associates. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast, and will be a very brief 15-minute meeting. I'm going to turn it over to Chris Mills. He is the chair of the Town Administrator Screening Committee.
All right. Well, thank you for having me tonight, everyone. I do want to speak briefly, thanking everyone for the appointment to this. It's the first time in all the years as being on Board of Health or on any committee that we've assembled the heads of various committees to do a project together. And this is kind of a historic, important project. So it was nice to meet the head of the planning board and things like that. It was really, at lunchtime during the interview day, we were discussing that. And it's a shame that we haven't done like a team build before, but it was, as a resident and as a board chair, I think that a bunch of different perspectives. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Would that be? I mean, there were no two people alike in that room. You know what I mean? And so it was really a diverse and fair way to interview someone. So I do want to name all the people on the committee. So myself, as the Board of Health chair, Dottie Fulgenetti, who's the Select Board chair, Patty Locke, who's the chair of the Republican Town Committee, Craig Barger, who is the chair of the Democratic Town Committee, Kelly Lamb, who is a Finance Committee representative, Robert Stetson, who is the Planning and Zoning chair, Ryan Cook, who's the Zoning Board of Appeals chair, Jackie Wiseman, who is the School Committee chair, and Wendy Nightingale, who's here tonight as the Town Finance Director. Again, it was an honor to be part of this. This is a big deal and something that none of us took lightly. So the process, the way it happened, we hired Bernie, who will speak about his company, to collect resumes, put it out there, and we got 27 total, which we're all, over the past year, in the trenches with town stuff, like trying to dig out financially, this, that, and the other thing, but to get 27 good qualified applicants does speak to this town and the level of it, and it is still a pretty great place. So out of the 27, we met, had a lengthy meeting, and we combed through everybody's resume. There was stacks of paper everywhere, and at the end of that meeting, we had 6 that we were going to push to an interview day. And there was a lot of going back and forth. That was really an interesting part of it, because the group just kind of meshed together right off the bat, and we just went at it, and everybody's voice was heard. There would be some people like ready to move on. Oh wait, what about this thing? And people would go back and forth. So we felt very confident about the 6 we were putting forward. The time between that meeting and the interview day, we did have 1 withdraw. So that brought the total down to 5 that we were going to push to interview. So we set up a day at the Queeset House, and the way we interviewed the candidates, I thought, was phenomenal. They came in, they talked, and we all just talked. Everyone fired away if someone had a question. It was formally informal. It was probably the best way, wouldn't you know? And getting to hear their perspectives on things. There were a couple, the interview process, just speaking for myself, there were some people at first that was like, I'm not crazy about this person. And then towards the end, I really liked this person. So, and it was because somebody else, Kelly would ask a question that I wouldn't think of, and they would have an answer to it. And it was like, oh, that, you know what? And just get your mind working. So after that day, that was a long day, we came back with three finalists. So I'm happy to announce the three finalists, which were unanimous. Jonathan Bader, Bill Chenard, and Liz Dennehy. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Bernie Lynch of Community Paradigm, his company, to take the show from me and let everyone know what the next step is. Thanks, Bernie.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Sean, can I share my screen?
Yep.
Okay. All right, bear with me for just 1 second here while I try to get this set up.
The bottom part of the screen with a little where that scroll is, where it says 41% to the right of where you are.
Yeah.
Left.
I want to go to actually I want to go to slideshow here.
Yep.
It's been a little time since I've done this.
Next.
Okay, there we go. Do you see that?
Yes.
All right, great. Chris really did a great job, and I know you have another agenda item tonight or another meeting you have to be at. So I'll try to be. I'm going to try to be as brief as quickly and as quick as possible. But let me just say at the outset, I couldn't agree more with Chris in terms of the great work that the committee did. The board did a great job of appointing these people. Of the members of the committee, but the committee really came fully committed to really doing the job, and it was a real pleasure to work with all of them. Great questions, great perspective about the position and about the community that was very helpful to me, and I'm thrilled to hear that one of the outcomes of it, as Chris described, is pulling all the members of these different boards and committees together for the first time. A positive outcome like that wasn't necessarily the intended outcome. The purpose is great to hear. So, but let me go just very quickly. Members of the public that are out there, members of the board that want to sort of get a sense of how did we get to this point. Chris gave an overview that we brought in a number of different resumes, but we were engaged by the town back at the beginning of December, mid-December. We went right to work. Really trying to understand the town and the position, even though we have a sense of what Easton is and we know what a town administrator is all about. We've done about 130 of these searches now over the last 10 years throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We go into every community with really a sense that we need to understand what are the priorities and what do we want the people that are applying for this job, what are we looking for from these people to identify the best possible candidates. And we do that through our own research, but most importantly, we do it through talking to members of the board, the select board, the department heads, and gathering as many people as we can to sort of get that sense of what those priorities and what those attributes are. And we develop a position statement that we then utilize as a recruitment tool, and the screening committee and the board can use as an assessment tool. So we did that. We began the search really in early January. We posted it through the Mass Municipal Association, the International City and County Management Association. We have a number of other locations, including universities and colleges in the region that have alumni that are in this line of work. We have our own database of some 400 plus individuals that we know are looking for jobs like this, and we distribute that far and wide. And then we do quite a bit of extensive candidate-specific outreach. In other words, people that we know that might be a good fit for what the town of Easton is looking for. It's been a challenge in the last number of years to get people to apply for these positions. Many communities struggle to get up above 20 applicants, really qualified type applicants for these positions. In the town of Easton, as Chris pointed out, I think we were thrilled to say by the end of January when we had the deadline, we had 27 applicants that most of whom were very strong. A few outliers that were very strong but didn't necessarily have the municipal experience that the town needed and was looking for. But overall, we were very pleased with the response that we received. As Chris pointed out, the screening committee spent a few hours, and I forget the exact date, but reviewing the pool, selecting those 6 candidates for interviews. We did have that one withdrawal, again, not unusual. The people that were looking at this job were very interested in Easton, particularly once we were able to tell the story of what Easton is all about. Most people in the state know what Easton has accomplished. and the qualities of the community. But it became certainly a very easy process for us to be able to convince people to apply for this position. Those that we were thought might apply that didn't apply, it wasn't because of Easton, it was because they had commitments that they had made that they had to stick with, or that they had the geography just didn't work for them. We did hold the interviews, as Chris said, over the course of the day, interviewing those 5 candidates. The interview topics that we really focused on is why were they interested in the position and how does it fit into their career? What's their leadership and management style? How well do they communicate and collaborate with people, particularly in a community like Easton that has such a high level of civic engagement? We did want to know their experience and their ideas regarding citizen relations and government transparency. That's a very important topic now throughout communities across the country, and certainly here in Massachusetts. What are their external relationships? You have Stonehill College. You have other entities that the town administrator has to interact with, the business community, developers, other communities. How well do they interact with those people? Financial management. Finance is a key issue in Easton, as it is in most communities here in Massachusetts, and arguably certainly across the country. So people that are in the business of municipal management need to know financial management have those financial management skills, and we wanted to understand their perspective and their philosophy in addressing finances. Capital finances and project management. Easton's doing a number of important facility projects, infrastructure projects, and certainly that's a key part of any community is how do you maintain all of that. So we wanted to understand that. Land use and economic development. Ultimately, if taxes are going to be held under control, economic development is a key part of that, but done so in a way that a number of members of the committee were very focused on this, of how do you have development that matches with the community character. So we spent some time talking about that, personnel management and collective bargaining, and select board relations. And out of it, as Chris pointed out, we have the 3 finalists that were selected, and it was a unanimous choice, but there was quite a bit, it wasn't automatic. There was time spent reviewing each one of the candidates before they came to those 3 finalists. The 3 finalists that we have, as Chris pointed out, is John Zimbader. John has his master's degree from Bridgewater State University in public administration, a Bachelor of Science degree from Wentworth in construction management. Currently the town administrator in Avon since 2023. Prior to that, he served as Director of Public Works in Plymouth from 2011 to 2023 with a sizable organization that he operated there. And prior to that, he worked for the town of Stoughton, in which he served in a number of capacities, leading from engineering inspector and engineering functions all the way up to assistant DPW superintendent for operations. So he's got some good experience in terms of managing those organizations. William Chenard does have a certificate in local government leadership and management from Suffolk University. Also has a education through the Squadron Officer School in the U.S. Air Force Academy, a BA in psychology. Experience, he's currently a town manager in the town of Pembroke, which he has served since 2020, and has extensive experience serving the town of Natick as the deputy town administrator, the director of public works, the business manager. He also served in a capacity in the city of Newton, and again, has that experience managing organizations with a variety of different projects and different experiences. So he's our second candidate. The third candidate is Elizabeth Dennehy. Again, Master of Public Administration from Bridgewater State University. Also a Bachelor of Science from Bridgewater State University. Currently, and a good tenure of town administrator experience in the town of Plimpton for 9 years now in that community, dealing with a variety of, again, infrastructure projects and organizational issues. She's really the first town administrator that the town of Plimpton has had. So she's been putting those organizational processes in place, and has really built up that organization. Prior to that, she served for 2 years as Director of Community and Economic Development in Walpole, and dealt with a number of downtown revitalization efforts in Walpole and transit-oriented development, working with a number of organizations and businesses in Walpole to deal with the issues that they've been trying to move forward there with their facilities and their development in that community. And then planning director and environmental affairs officer for the city of Fall River. Certainly a large organization, again, dealing with a number of major infrastructure projects as well as development efforts. So those are your three candidates. All of them interviewed well, and all are excited and are still very excited to be moving forward in the process. If I could, just talking about the next steps, you have before you the finalist report that we're issuing today to the board with the information about these candidates. That includes their cover letters, their resumes. It also has their references. We talk to, we do backgrounds before these people move forward in the process. But then after they're selected as finalists, we spend quite a bit of time talking to their references to get a perspective of how they work with their teams, how they work with the community, what their major accomplishments have been, their style of decision making, their style of the interpersonal skills. We spend, as I often note, we spend more time talking to the references of these people than we actually do interviewing these people at this point. The interview certainly is a crucial step, but beyond that, we want to know how they work with the organizations that they're in now. And that's what we've tried to summarize in the reference reports that are included, reference reviews that are included within the report. Tomorrow we have meetings with each of the candidates with the department heads to talk about how they would interact with the team and get some perspective on how they would deal with the issues facing each one of the departments. And of course, then we have the board interviews coming up on Monday evening from 5:30 to 8:30, in which the board will conduct their interviews and then hold their deliberations and possibly make a decision on who to appoint as town administrator, which would then lead to the commencement of contract negotiations. So a number of steps still to move forward, but the process has gone very well for Easton. Again, I think a credit to that really goes to the committee and the work that they've done. That completes my presentation.
Well, thank you, Bernie. We really appreciate all the effort of you and your staff. We saw you at the MMA annual meeting, talking to folks there, and you've got such a wide network of people. You really did a great job with both the recruiting and the promotion of the town to be able to attract some great candidates. And during the whole process, you've guided us step by step, given us great advice on how to proceed, what to watch out for, how to be able to conduct the best professional interviews on our end. Everybody on the screening committee was really pleased with the process and the results, which is, that's a big feat to have 9 different people and everybody feel that they had good input and walked away from it with a good feeling. And I'm really excited that we've got 3 great candidates. We're anxious to be able to get to the next step. And it feels like this was a really fast process. So, and that's what happens when it runs smooth. So
Exactly.
I definitely want to thank Chris for chairing the committee and stepping up to be there to help, especially with a really busy schedule that he has, and all the committee members. They were all, I took note of what you said, Chris, because I think having that group and including other boards and committees together to do a team building thing at least once a year is a really great idea. So unintended great consequences of a meeting like that. It inspires new ideas. And I appreciate all your help.
Great. Thank you.
Any of the board members have any comments or questions?
Anything I would say would repeat what you said. You said it perfectly. Just
great.
Thank you to everybody involved. It was really thorough, and this is fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading through this. So thank you, Bernie, and your team, and thank you, Chris, and all the committee for the hard work. It was a lot of work. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody, to the board, Chris, to you, to the board members. The role is, as you pointed out, Chris, exceptionally important. Who we put at the helm for the next years to come is going to, change or benefit the town of Easton incredibly. So this is an exceptionally important role. I also want to point out the makeup of that group. I stand behind in every way, shape, and form. There was a phenomenal group of people who touch upon every aspect of this town in one way or another. The department heads, the people who are working under the department heads, and all the other committees involved. So kudos to that entire committee and the creation of that.
Right.
Yep, and I just second that. Chris, thanks to the team, because it was a lot of volunteer time too. A lot of people during their workday, Dottie, you included, all the people on that board. And you're right, made up of a really good, solid, diverse group of members of this community. So thanks to everybody.
And just in case my boss is watching, I did take the day off on the interview. So. All right, everyone. Well, we're late for another meeting, and so not to rush off, but I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Stacy and Lamb, all in favor, and we'll do this as a roll call because it's hybrid. Full Janetti, yes?
Stacy, yes?
Lamb, yes.
Stebbins, yes.
All right, great. Thank you so much. See you Monday, Bernie.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you.